I'm Amy Maynor with Beauty for Homes, and I'm here to share some trends that are going to be coming forward in 2020. Some of them you may have seen in 2019, some of them might be a little more edgy, but I brought a few things today to share with you what I think is going to be blowing up in 2020. One of the things that you probably saw in 2019 is coming back is wallpaper. Now, if you've ever had to remove wallpaper, you might sigh when you hear that. But the new trends are very different than grandma's wallpaper that was very thick plastic and small little flowers. I brought one example that I've used in my own home and I've used with other clients. This is called seagrass cloth, and it has a texture to it. It's actually handmade. One of the biggest trends we're gonna see in the year 2020 is handmade materials, handmade things that are textured. So the two words that I'm gonna use to sum up 2020 are warmth, and we're going to see so many more textures. So this wallpaper is textured, and it's actually seagrass cloth. Now, it's very expensive, so it could run as much as $100, $150 per roll. And I actually learned how to apply this, and it's different than other wallpaper. What I did is, because this is a more neutral color, I opted to put this in a bookcase in the back. So it would be texture on a more neutral background. So I am both a designer and a renovator. And after flipping homes for almost 30 years, I tend to be more practical when it comes to design. With design, you have both function and the aesthetics. So I tend to be on the things that I call attached to the wall, glued. In real estate, I guess they would call it like nuts and bolts. The things that are not coming off the walls, I tend to be more practical. So for example, some of the trends coming now, we're getting away from all whites in kitchens and all whites in tiles. So let's say, for example, you do this shaker white in your kitchen, you might want to add a pop of color in the island. One of the trends is two tones in the kitchen. But I would suggest if you have low ceilings, you might want to continue white on your cabinetry, go light on the countertops, add a hint of color in the backsplash, and maybe a little bit on an island. Some other trends that are coming, I wanted to show you a lot of just basic white. I love natural material. This is a marble. Again, very white. One way to bring that up a notch is to go with a glass type of material like this. This comes in all different textures and colors. They're a little more expensive, but if you're not doing a big area, you could actually use it as an accent. Here's another example of, I love the natural colors in this marble trim here, but you can also go and carrying with some of the more warm tones. So when I say the word warmth, warmth is gonna be in the things that are more permanent. I would not suggest you go with a hot pink tile. I'm a lot more practical than that, but you can add a lot of accents in your art. So for example, glass is really getting popular to go, and that you're gonna see more of that in 2020. One of the trends that's gonna continue that I personally love is the mixed metals. So we're gonna see things like textured wallpaper. We're going to see handcrafted wood. I just came from Asheville and found there are so many beautiful handcrafted items. I wish I could have brought every one of them home. But the trend is definitely moving more into less is more, with an emphasis on really taking care of the earth and really having less, but having what you have more of a quality piece. So for example, we went to a place where they hand blow glass, and they actually have beautiful wall art that is glass. That's something I would love to do. So another example I wanted to show you is the trend has been for a while to just very white, very gray. Here, for example, is beautiful mercury glass with some white roses. If you're doing everything in a very neutral palette, and let's say you've already redesigned your home, you don't have a lot of areas that you want to change, just come in with some new pops of color. You can achieve that with a lot of textured pillows. We've seen a real emphasis. You can achieve that with a lot of textured pillows. We've seen a real emphasis on lots of different patterns and colors and pillows. One word comes to my mind, and that's world market. So if you haven't been there lately, Pottery Barn, yes. Pottery Barn's still pretty muted in their tones, but they have some beautiful things. World Market, really, they have things that are made all over the world. And adding a combination of both antiques and handcrafted woods and some mixed metals, going with a lot of neutrals. Another thing that I wanted to show you is, well, we've got marble, which is a very natural material. There is also an emphasis to seashell. And so we're finding things in nature, seagrass claw, seashells. I even found this today, a beautiful marble and wood cutting board. And so let's say, for example, I've painted everything a warm tone that's a white. I decided to add a pop of texture by adding this in the background. And then I added shells, and I've added just a really big, beautiful piece of driftwood. And then for some color pops, because pinks, corals, tones in those muted, more soft colors, I found these locally by local artists. I love to collect local art. I encourage everybody to do that. This was made by Virginia Pettit. And so I bought 2 of them, and I just displayed them. They didn't have to be on the wall. They can just be displayed. So I just wanted to take this time to share with you the main trends coming in 2020 are adding a touch of personal style, and so that every piece tells a story. So let's say, for example, I bought this in Nashville, or I have something that's an antique that was my grandmother's. The other thing I want to encourage you is, if you have a fabulous piece, you can always paint it. So I have a few pieces that I've had forever, and I just couldn't keep looking at the dark wood. I painted it, and it gave it a whole new life. So I hope that you've enjoyed this update on design trends in 2020. And I'm not only here to share with Exit One Stop Realty, I'm also a client, a very happy client. I've both bought and sold properties with this real estate company, and I encourage you to do the same. Thank you, and Happy New Year.